Before we begin, let's do a quick follow along. Close your eyes, take a deep breath. Now think of a moment, a difficult moment in your life which you thought you couldn't overcome. Now think about how you did overcome it, how you made it through it. Show gratitude. Say thank you to yourself for overcoming such a challenge. Here you are now, watching this video or doing something else. Pat yourself on the back. Now take another deep breath. And open your eyes. The new year is upon us. We're already about 10 days in. And you probably sent your New Year's resolution as to what you want to do this year and how you want to go approaching your self-development this year. But before you make this one very huge mistake that a lot of people make, I want to tell you how I used to make the same mistake when it came to my self-development journey. So whenever I used to kind of feel bad about myself as to where I was in life and was just generally unsatisfied with whatever I was doing and just feeling that anxiety at the back of my head where I could be more, how you see yourself, your potential just kind of slowly drifting away because of your inaction. I used to kind of force myself to do the productive thing. I used to force myself to be, that person that I imagined myself being in the future though. And I spoke about that specific thing in the previous video. But, I used to force myself to, do productive stuff, do habits that, that somebody in another video like this would tell me, that is the right thing to do, it's the productive thing to do, because then that can, change you into a different person. And so that is what I was trying. And yes, I used to be really good at it. And then, I used to kind of get out of a rut, and we spoke about rut many times as well. I used to get out of a rut, and then I used to feel better, but it wouldn't really last for too long, and I would just kind of slip back to my old habits as per usual, at least that back then. And so what was the mistake that I was making when it came to my self-development? The mistake was I wasn't changing the person that was doing all those habits. I wasn't necessarily changing myself, who I was when doing those habits. That's really important to realize. Who are you? Right? Write that question somewhere on your journal or whatever, on your phone. Who are you? And answer that as honestly as you can. Are you the person that will do all of those habits that you set out for yourself this year? Are you a person that will achieve everything that you set out for yourself this year? Be completely honest about it. Because for the longest time, I sure was not that person. Because I was doing it the opposite. It doesn't matter if you do all the productive habits every single day for the longest time. Because if you don't change the identity of a person that's doing it, i.e. you, then you will definitely fall back to your old habits. It's like trying to run a new software on an old hardware. It doesn't work, right? It will crash the old hardware and will reset it to what it can work on, right? And this is a mistake that a lot of people make, and it's probably a mistake that you are about to make before watching this video. But it is important to realize that before you set out to do a specific action or habit, a set of habits, trying to change yourself, it is incredibly important that first you change the identity that yourself have right here. Because if you don't change the identity, you will fall back to your old habits, and those promises that you have made to yourself or to your loved ones about changing yourself and being a better person, it's always going to be in the future. I spoke about this in the previous video, delaying your development for the future. So who do you want to be? Who is it that you imagine yourself being? Who are you right now? As I said, write down that question and answer it as honestly as you can. Are you the person right now, your current image of yourself? Are you the person that will do all of those things that you set out for yourself this year? Or are you going to fall back to your old habits? Do you still have the same identity, trying to do different things? Or do you have a new identity for which these habits and these actions are more appropriate for? You have to be completely honest about it. And then, who is it that you want to be? Write down the next question. Who is it that you want to be? And then you can identify the habits and actions and just habitus of a person that you imagine yourself being. And then become that person right now. I will keep reiterating this in as many videos as it needs to be. Don't delay that for the future. Just because the person you have written that you want to be is in the future doesn't mean that you cannot be that right now. Because if you keep delaying your development for the future, like, oh, I'm gonna become that person in the future, I'm gonna, be that person eventually. No, you will never become that person then. Because the true change to genuinely shape yourself into that person starts right in this moment as you're watching this video. And if you're watching this video, also pat yourself on the back. That means you're serious about your self-development. You should be proud of yourself. Taking knowledge from somebody else is also a step forward. It is important how you use the knowledge. So don't delay that development that you have ahead of you. Do it right now. Once you've identified what kind of habits you want to do, start doing them right now. Don't delay them for tomorrow. Find time for them. And keep telling yourself in your head that not that you are becoming that person, but you already are that person. Because that's when something in your brain shifts. Something in your brain decides that, yes, no, we are that person right now. And so you naturally gravitate towards becoming the person you set out for yourself to be. So don't make the mistake of trying to do the different habits, but as the same person. because then you will definitely fall back into your old self, your old habit, your old vices. And then if you're unaware enough, you will create this loop where, I broke my promise, so I'm gonna go deeper into my vices, and then you start hating yourself and you start going deeper into your old habits, etc., etc. That vicious cycle of self-destruction. And so to avoid this, we need to hit at the root of the problem, which is our identity, how we see ourselves, how we perceive ourselves. And once we start changing that, once you change that, through words, through actions, through telling yourself that you are that person, that's when the habits that you really want to do become not only easy, but natural for you to do. You can't not do them. So guys, it is incredibly important. First, change who you are. Who are you, right? Change that part of yourself first, and then go and do that New Year's resolution that you have for this year. Go do the healthy habits that you wanted to do this whole time, because it's not an oddity now that you do them, but a natural occurrence that you will do them. And so you'll thank yourself for doing exactly that. Thank you for watching, and I wish you all the success this year that you have written out for yourself. Have a great day.